So we finished at Hampton Court Palace and we went to go visit our friend down in Colston, down in the North Downs. So here's a shot of Colston. They live in Old Colston. And I left the map labels on here because do you get any more British than Colston Common and Nethern on the Hill, Hooley, or Chipstead? We're just at the heart of England here. Colston Common, which is still a common area, a community use space. Um, has a newsletter about thank you to our volunteer goat checkers, keeping their goat community in good shape in Colston Common. I was delighted by that. This is the kinds of roads that you drive along are exactly the roads that you imagine from sort of movies and books about British roads that you're going down a road that's barely wide enough for one car with enormous hedges on either side. And now we are reversing for some untold distance until this car can be passed. Our friend Flavin driving us around. And the Farthing Downs, that sort of central strip down the middle, it's the northernmost piece of the Downs of England. This is a chalk and flint downs, and as you're walking along the paths on these downs, you're walking on rocks that, when you look down, they almost look like volcanic glass, like obsidian, and you realize that you're walking across the chalk, the flint that has been used for tens of thousands of years. The first humans that came to Britain, the first time they started making tools, they picked up these rocks that we're still walking on and chipped them into axes and into all kinds of the tools that we use to build up what we are today. And it was so cool to walk across the geologic surface of tens of thousands of years of human history. It's a very, very, very old place. And our friend Flavin took us to show us this little church. This is Chaldon Church. Chaldon Church is in the Domesday Book, which was after William the Conqueror came across to Britain and said, all right, this is my country now, and I'm going to make a record of it. And so he sent people out, tax collectors mostly, to record everything in the country. One of the first kind of census efforts in the European world. Um, and this church was listed in 1086 in the Domesday Book, an ancient church. I've been in a lot of old churches. This is an old space. Then there's some church established, Chaldon Church established here from as early as 727 AD. We are old here. I know the picture on the website isn't quite doing, you're thinking that's not the same building. It's looking side on from this end, and the light is a bit different, making it look bluer. I promise this is indeed Chaldon Church. And here you can see there's that flint. See how it looks almost like sort of translucent and dark, almost again like obsidian. And you can just picture, picking up and saying, "Wow, if I whack this really hard, chips flake off, and I have something even sharper." So this church is also made of, again, the some of the oldest materials that humans used as they were getting into Britain, just right into the walls of the church. Inside the church, which is an active church, this is not a historical church. This is a church that holds services, that runs food drives, that had signs up for all of their endeavors. And it looks like this is a church full of people who are interested in justice, in charity, in being good in the world. This is an active church. And while you go to service here, and at the back is this mural that I immediately clocked as, wait a minute, something is very extraordinary happening here. Um, this is a mural from the 12th century. And again, I've been in a lot of old churches. I've been to a lot of art museums. I've done a lot with art. Something this well preserved from the 12th century, just sitting there in your local church. Just incredible. It was uncovered in the 19th century, 1869. The rector was doing some repairs and was like, paint looks a little weird back here. Everyone stop. And was able to recover this mural. It's an extraordinary piece that, of course, is telling stories of judgment and hellfire and whatnot. But it's strange and it's striking, and it was such an honor to get to see something this cool and something this precious to be preserved. Although for my money, even more precious were the trees outside. The I had a sense of the age of this place even before I got to see that mural. It's just extraordinary old trees over the old stone in the walls. Yes, Judith, exactly. It looks ancient Egyptian. It looks like we are from a truly different space in time. The art style and but also strangely modern too. Like maybe it's the sort of mural that could be painted on a sort of graffitied wall today. Really, really striking piece. So here's the churchyard. And the churchyard, you might initially look at it and think, this doesn't look like much of a garden, Sonia. What are you doing here? I thought this was a tour of gardens. Cool church, cool mural, but um, the churchyard is where I want to end. And I know we're at 10 o'clock and I only have just the last couple things to say. This is where it was really brought home to me how important it is that we honor horticultural heritage. That this churchyard was not messy, or rather, it was messy, but it was messy as a garden. That this is an intentional garden, a natural management system to allow a greater variety of plants and flowers to flourish. Take your time to enjoy them. Help us maintain this environment. Use only natural flowers and foliage when tending the graves and memorials. So this is an active church, an active cemetery, and an active garden that has intention to how it will work, how it will be preserved. And in late June here, the churchyard has been left uncut to allow wildflowers to flourish. By not cutting these areas during the flowering period of May to September, we're providing shelter and food for important pollinating insects, including moths, bees, and butterflies. Um, and it was really brought home to me that having a historical garden, having a garden that honors history and looks forward to the future and imagines that the things that we do can last for 900 years. This church that I think when the people were building it, they weren't imagining 1,000 years from now, people coming to see it. But you keep making decisions to preserve the things that matter to you. And maybe you have the money and the wealth and the science of Oxford behind to preserve 100, 300 years of a science garden. Maybe you have the incredible wealth of the royal family and the tourism machine that is British tourism to maintain the ornamental and practical gardens of Hampton Court Palace. But I think the most important thing is that all of us are working in historic gardens. They haven't moved through time yet, but they will. And if we make, I'm getting like my dad now. I'm getting all emotional about it.
I was
If you
early
make the effort to preserve the plants and the people and
earlier earlier
the
I was
animals.
Earlier, I was trying to type into chat. My hands are not steady enough to work on chat or other things. But I started typing in the chat that our daughter, you can hear, she also tears up and gets emotional about how long and what effect we have on things that people don't even think about. Are they yew trees, Sonia? Are
So
they?
the yews are here, but I think those giant ones that we might be asking about, um, I think they are plane trees of some sort.
Yeah,
I was going to guess plane
yeah, it
tree.
looks like a plane
Yeah,
tree. Yep.
the initial kind of look at the trunks and the branching, it feels, and you want it to be oaks because England and oaks. But yeah, I think they are plane trees.
Yeah,
They
the
are, yeah,
European version
gorgeous.
of a sycamore.
And then yes, the yews because they are the graveyard trees. One of
Yep.
the oldest yews in the world, the Fotheringill yew is up in Scotland in a churchyard, and it's the size of this church.
That's
Yeah, yeah, just
3,000 years old, isn't
And
it?
yeah,
and
yeah. They absolutely. They think they're not even sure. They've probably at least 2,000 is their guess.
when I was in driving through Wales, I stopped at a little church like this, and the church was built in the circle of the yews, which
Yeah,
the pagans used to celebrate.
yeah.
Used for their, so they built there, and those yews are still there. They were at least 1,000 years old. They said
Yeah.
they thought those yews were.
We laugh and smile to ourselves all the time when people say, "I'm going to take the yews out. They're getting old in my yard, and they're only 40 years old." I think Marilyn was asking about France, that she saw a wild garden, and she didn't know if there were prairies in France. Most of Northwestern Europe was originally plant communities that are forest or shrub of some kind. So upland would be gorse and heather. Well, gorse wasn't native there, but that kind of thing, heathers and heaths. Um, True prairie, you'd have to move further over toward the Eastern Europe. And even there, those prairies are not the same as the North
As
American
our
prairies.
prayers. Yeah.
But they do love meadows in England. That whole bit with these things will be cut later when they go to seed. Um, Christopher Lloyd's garden at Great Dixter has a big meadow.
Mhm.
But they call them meadows rather than prairies because it's a
Yep.
different climate, not quite the same as the prairie plants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. This is where I wanted to end. That whatever little space you have and however messy it is, that is part of gardening and that is part of history and that is part of preservation. So
Could be.
yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to replace your share and just let people know when we're back again. Uh-oh, what's
Um,
screens, documents, desktop?
Acrobat.
Oh, there it is. Oh, we left a white screen up. Okay.
Mm.
So we're
Oops.
yeah, we'll oh my, that's a nice picture, Steve. So thank you, Sonia, very much. That was wonderful.
It really
Yes,
was.
we were tearing up over here when we weren't tearing up.
Yeah.
We're tearing
Yeah.
up over here. So thank you very much. We'll be here next Friday, November 7th, for our 59th Free for All Friday. And we are very excited about December 4th, when Lauren Postal, who is uh, a innovative and energetic and beautiful ecological
Yeah.
biologist, is going to talk to us about getting kids out in nature a little bit more. And you are welcome to join us for that. So thank you very much for being here, everybody.